Welcome to Anne Bonnie Bags. My name is Uni. The bag we're making today is called Ingela after a Swedish pirate. We have this crossbody bag. It's a normal good size. You got room for your phone and stuff here. Inside this is also a zipper pocket with a decor panel. There are two slip pockets right here on the back here. You can see there's a zipper pocket where you can stick your phone in or something. So that, and with an adjustable strap. And as you see, we have this decorative vinyl on the strap. As you see, there's a one piece of fabric folded there and to the center, and then we sew along the edge. Now sew on the other side. A little double-sided tape along the center to hold the vinyl in place so it doesn't stretch, because sometimes vinyl stretches. And this tape is very good for keeping it in place. We add the ring and baste them together. There, we got the strap connectors. And then we sew the shoulder strap or the crossbody strap. Do it exactly the same way. Now we will put a strip of double-sided tape on this for our decor strip, which is optional. I need to splice this. Start from the same end of the strap. And before we can say the strap is finished, we need to add the strap adjuster. And since we don't have a raw edge here, we don't need to fold it twice. I like to have a little rivet here, but I'll also sew. It's a little thick. Especially going back, it does not like to sew thick things backwards. And now we put a rivet in there, and then we put a swivel hook in. The first swivel hook will just hang there, like that. Then we put that in there, and that in there. And then we can put the last swivel hook on. And we want a rivet in there too. But I still like to sew on these. Yes, you can hear it's a little... Yeah, if your machine don't really want to do this, sew across there, you can just use a rivet. So now our little crossbody strap is done. Waiting for us till we get the rest of the bag done. Now we can jump straight to the lining, so we have that ready and waiting for us too. Here's the slip pocket. We turn that inside out, and since I want to have this decor strip on top here, I will have the fold down. But if you don't like all these colors, then you just put that down. Leave a little gap here. So there, and then you fold it, and then this is up for you. For me, that's down, so let me just sew the sides. Cut away a little of the seam allowance in the corners. Okay, so I can now press this to get it as flat and pretty as possible. Okay, got that nice and flat. Now I need to put this binding on. I like it to stick out a little on each side, so I have something to work with. Clip it on, trying to fold it into, because we're going to sew only one seam here to live dangerously. We're going to hit both the top and the bottom at the same time. So of course it's smart to not be too close to the edge. Then it's easier to catch both layers. Got that? Now we can cut it even. We can sew it onto the front, and there's a mark on the pattern. We can actually mark up the center on the pattern because we're going to need that for many purposes, both on the top and the bottom. Make a little clip. Got that. You pin it in place. You did this on the tote bag as well, so it's the exact same way. So up and then a little skew. My little crow's feet again. So I sew straight up, back, little skew, back. That's it. And now you can decide whether you want one big room here or if you want to divide it in two. Let me divide it. Now I've got two small pockets. Okay, so that's that. That's the front. Let's do the back. So I put double-sided tape on this decor panel. Have a center mark. And just look at the pattern and then you'll see how this goes. Let me mark up where this is the center of this. That will be kind of there. I think there, that should be a good spot. So what we'll do first, we sew around this on the outside of the decor panel. Okay, so now we'll cut that so we get a hole in the center. We want to cut the lining away from the hole opening here so it doesn't poke out around the zipper. We don't need the green to poke out. But when you cut here, you have to be careful so you don't actually cut your accent fabric, right? So be very careful. It looks like I'm a little frivolous doing this, but I've done it so many times, so I kind of feel where I'm at. If this is your first time, then be careful. Okay, we're ready to put the zipper in. We take one of the zipper pocket, and what we'll do, normally I will put the zipper to this side. We're going to turn this around. So this is, you want to do it opposite. You put the right side of the pocket lining up, and the zipper, you put it with the wrong side against it, like this, but with the zipper pulled the wrong way, unless you're left-handed. And then you fold that out so the zipper lay flat and top stitch. So you see, this is the inside of the pocket now, the right side of the pocket. So it's pretty good. Now we can just throw this on top. We can put that to the end. Don't lose it. We can start. What we want to do first is just sew on the lower side of the zipper. So only on the lower side. Go back and forth. Got that. Now it's time to put the zipper pull in the picture. And what we do now is we take the other zipper pocket, throw that on top there. Make sure it goes to the end of this. Has to go to the up to the zipper. And what we can do is put a couple of pins in just to hold it in place while we work at it. I see now that one is going to be a little too long. Might as well cut that off. So this is the zipper in the lining. We are going to have open here on the bottom. So we're only going to sew along the top and the sides there afterwards. But first we're just going to top stitch around the zipper. And now we're going to sew on the short side and the last remaining long side. So there is our zipper pocket almost done. It's very simple when we use this decor panel, I think. So all we have to do now is sew on the sides. So we put the pocket down, fold that up, and we sew all the way. Only on the side. Cut that away, make it pretty. Do it the other side. Cut that away. And now if we make life a little easier for ourselves, we will press this up to the sides. But since I'm using waterproof canvas, you have to hold it and just press on the inside, because then you don't burn the plastic. And if we press that, it's easier for us when we come to the very end and are going to close the pocket with a little top stitch. Okay, so now I pressed that. Now we have the back ready. We have the front of the lining ready. Now we only need to assemble the exterior of the bag. So let's start with the back. And we have the top there, like that. So here is the zipper. So let's start by sewing these zipper tabs on. Sew it and then top stitch to hold it in place. Cut it so it's pretty and even. Make sure the zipper itself is 8 inches. Now we can mark up the center of the zipper, just so we know that we are keeping to the center. We're going to need the center there as well, I think. So we do the other side while we're at it. We do the same on this panel where that ends. Let's do this while we're at it. So now we're ready to put the zipper in, and then we put it that way with the wrong side up. Clip it in place. Make sure the zipper pull is pointing down so we don't have to sew across that metal there, because that never ends good. Got that? Now we can take a zipper pocket, put that on right side towards the wrong side of the zipper. We can clip that in place or live dangerously and just sew it. Sew it in the same seam. So now we got half a pocket in place. Now we need to finger press a little. If you want to press this with your iron, then you can use a pressing cloth, because to protect the vinyl. And then top stitch. Oh, and before I do anything else, I need to put my label. Otherwise, I'll forget it. And then we can put the top piece on. So we clip that on. We already have a center mark. Let's go for that. Start there. And then we can put the last pocket part in. That goes there. This is one piece on the pattern. You just fold it up. You pretend like it's like that. You fold it up like that. This one doesn't need to be open at the bottom because we already have an opening in the lining to turn the bag through. So now we're only fastening the pocket lining. So we fold that up, leave the pocket down, finger press, and top stitch. Okay, now we got the back pocket finished. Oh, not quite. We need to just sew the side and the bottom of this pocket. And it's easier to do that if we lay this flat, open that up, and then sew from there. Actually, sometimes it's better to come from the here and then go down. Now the pocket is working here on the back. And now we can sew the bottom part in. Clip it in place. Actually, we can mark that up too on the center. Okay, so now we clip that in place, right side against right side. This is very simple, this part. Now we need to top stitch on the back part. Okay, now we got the back finished, almost. While we're at the back here, we can sew our little strap connectors on. We can base these on. You have to measure so they stick almost 1 inch further. Or you can mark up, let's see, there, 1 inch from the bottom, that's where the seam is going to be. Because this part here, we put a rivet in. So, we space that on a little higher up than the seam allowance, just to keep it in place. And actually it's a smart idea to make sure this ring doesn't move too much. I would clip it in place. And then it's important to get the other one in place just the same way. And then we see that goes to almost to the center there, that goes there. This is only to hold them in place while we're working on it. Okay, now we're ready to assemble the little front part. Yeah, we need a center mark on that too. And clip it in place. And so fold it up, top stitch on the fabric, not the vinyl, on the upper part. Now we have the front and the back done. So good thing we already have the lining done, because now we can put that in. I think we start with the back here. Okay, so at the end of the zipper, on the, where it's closed, we sew this little zipper tab on. Try to make it straight. Then we fold it over all the way around, like that. And then we top stitch. And then we cut away this extra seam allowance here. And so we get the raw edge on the inside, but that is all right. Nobody's getting to that inside because it's in the corner. So that's how this will look. So let's put that in place. Let's start a little more than half an inch from the end. We don't want to get too close to the end there. We don't need to start on the center on this zipper, because it's a little different. Let's make sure that our little zipper strap connector is pretty straight. But don't cut off these, because these we're going to put the rivet in. And on the end here, you're going to fold that 90 degrees over to the side. Then you get a little fold. That you take a little pin and you stick that down. So, and you stay half an inch away from the edge here as well. And normally I would start here, and I could, but it's a little hard to start where the zipper teeth are. So I'm going to start a little further in, and I'm going to sew over there. And now you have to be careful, because the strap connectors are pretty thick. Okay, let's move that along. Make sure they're laying straight. Now we need to sew that little end that we didn't get to. Now we just sew straight across the zipper. So now that should be held in place until we come over it with the lining part, so which we are ready for now. So this is the back part, and we need the back lining on top here. So we do the center marks, clip it in place. We sew it from the side where we can see our seam, because that's going perfectly on the zipper, and we want to hit that exact seam. Be careful and feel that this is straight. Go over the strap connector again. And then move the zipper pull out of the way. Careful over here again. Now we'll do a top stitch. So we keep the lining part down, fold that over so the lining, this is pointing away from the bag, away from the exterior. Coming over again, the strap connector. So now we have the back ready. Now we kind of have to hold these guys away. While we work. Because now we want to sew this end of the zipper in place. So we have to sew that to the front. We have to mark up the front on the center. That's for the lining after. So we'll see exactly where we have this previous layer, and we start there. A little more than 1/2 inch from the end. Clip that in place. It would be a smart idea to close the zipper a little, and then we'll see, so I can bend it exactly where the other one is. And then straight out. That looks pretty good to me. Then we can sew along the zipper. That looks all right. And then we take the front part of the lining, add that into the mix here. Clip that on. And then we sew along the zipper again. And also this time we will sew from this side where we can see the seam. So we see what we're doing. Now we can close the zipper. We can tidy up by cutting away some of this zipper on both sides. Yeah, so if we open this zipper, then it's easy for us to top stitch. And now I got a little problem, but only a little bit. It's a little finicky here, but you can do it. So now we have a top stitch on both sides of the zipper. Let's keep that. And make sure now that this zipper is open. That's very important, that the zipper in the lining needs to be open, because now we're going to close the sides here, and we really don't want to, we need to be able to turn the bag, so we need an opening. So you start here where these two meet, the bottom panel. It's important, very important that that match up. So I normally just sew a couple stitches over it so I'm sure it matches, so it doesn't slide away for me. And then we do the same on the other side, making sure it's all flat and good. I'm sewing only over just to hold it. Checking again. Yes, it looks good, because this is something that will show. Okay, so now we can pin the rest of the sides and the bottom. They really should meet at the top here too. Yeah, so it's important to make sure that everything lays flat. And then we have the bottom here. And we can close the bottom happily. Okay. Make sure everything flat. That looks good. So now we can sew the side seams. So then you check if everything looks all right, if you're meeting pretty good here and there. Yeah, then you sew one more time, because we want it to be strong. And then we do the same on the other side. And then one more time. Then the bottom. Now we have sewed around. The only thing we have left now are the boxed corners, but it's important that we cut away half the seam allowance here. We don't want this bag to be half full when we open it, just because of this so much seam allowance. So you see, I'm cutting half of it away on both sides. Now we can do the box corners. You hold this side seam towards you, and then you spread it. Spread the seam allowance here. Put a clip in. Try to make it come on the center. And then, in order to not live so dangerously, it's nice to make a line here with the pen. I kind of like it. I feel that it's more correct this way. It's a lesser chance to screw up. Believe me, I've done it. So one side done, one left. See, I'm folding that, clipping it in place. So the point is that the side seam is supposed to meet the center bottom. You can mark up the center bottom to make, if you want, as well. Cut off half the seam allowance. Good to go. Only the lining left. And on the lining we have a bottom seam, so it's even easier. Now I can even mark up here. Sewing across twice and then cutting half the seam allowance. And then we only have the last left. Last corner. There. Mark it up. There are certain habits that are good to get into. Marking up the corners is one of them. Box corners. Cut half away there. So now it looks like this. Should be all right. Now we can stick the hand. Okay, we have to open the main zipper too. Now we can pull everything out through the pocket. I have grabbed a good hold of the bottom of the bag. Okay, so it's a matter of pushing and pulling. Yeah, so now you take a quick look and see if things look all right. Okay, we can take that away. They look pretty good to me. So now I can close this pocket. Since I already ironed it, it's easy. I don't even have to clip it in place. I could though. I ironed this a little, pressed it a little so it looks a little better. And now it's time to put in the rivets. We can mark up so we're sure we hit the center. And I want to have one here as well. So 2 rivets on the strap. So these are 9mm double capped. Stick one with the one with the neck, stick that in. Take the other one there and then put that in. I find that the 9mm, they work for almost everything, even the tassels. Okay, we're done with the strap. And now I want to have a little rivet on the seam allowance for the strap connectors so they get really strong. So it could be a good idea to mark up there to get them equal on each side. Now I'm cutting through the lining and everything. That's the benefit of doing it last, because you also get the lining caught up in it. Okay, put that there. Okay, now we're done with the bag itself. I think we're going to put a little rivets to hold these rings so they don't go on the back there and you have to look for them. This will certainly hold them in place. Let's put this. Now this is the strap for the zipper pull. Let's fold it in two. I think I want it a little narrower. And I want the skew on the end. And sometimes you get it prettier if you cut it after it's double. So let's start from the center. And sew across. The reason I'm doing this is because it's a little harder to start on the very end. It can easily get all jumbled up. We'll stick that in there through the zipper pull. If your zipper doesn't have a hole that's this big, then you just take a little swivel hook meant for lanyards, tiny little one, and then you can clip it onto that there. I think I'm going to, just to make sure I don't screw up, take one at a time here. Making the holes for the rivet. Try to hit the center. Put that in there. There. All right, so yeah, and then we only need to hook this strap on, and then we're done with the crossbody bag. Like this. Thank you so much for watching my video today. Get my pattern from AnnBonnieBags.com. It's only $8 for 3 patterns. The pattern comes with a cutting plan and a material list and labels. You won't get confused just because it's 3 in 1. You just label them good with the labels that I provide. Go to my website and sign up for our email list as well if you want, and then you won't miss out on any new patterns. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day and good luck with your next project. See you in the next video.